big orange tank. And then those two white rockets on the side are filled with solid fuel, and they're the ones that provide the majority of the thrust. So it's about 10 million pounds of thrust getting us off the launch pad there. I'm the one in the center, the flight engineer, and in the front row of the cockpit there are the commander and pilot, and I'm working with them during this phase of flight during launch as we are getting into orbit and being prepared to respond in case there's any issues. So those solid rocket boosters burn for about the first 2 minutes of launch, and they're pretty loud. They run pretty rough, and you can see us actually kind of vibrating there in the cockpit room there. And then they're complete with all of their fuel, and they separate away from the shuttle, fall into the ocean, and then the liquid engines take us the rest of the way into orbit. And in just 8.5 minutes, we've gone from the launch pad to traveling at 17,500 miles per hour and gone into orbit around the Earth. And over the next day and a half, I'm working particularly with the commander and pilot as we are preparing to rendezvous with the International Space Station. So here you can see the three of us looking at some of the sensor data. This is a view of what we look like from the crew on the International Space Station. And that big piece of equipment in our payload bay is that first piece of the truss structure that I mentioned. We called it S0, and it's the one that we're bringing up to attach to the station. This is what the station looked like from our point of view as we're getting close. And this is looking out the aft flight deck of the shuttle as the space station is coming into view. It kind of looks like it's coming to meet us, but in fact, we're actually flying to meet it in this rendezvous. And there's the moment of contact. Now we're going to spend about 10 minutes bringing the two vehicles together. Yeah, our pilot was very happy with his flying skills, or our commander, Mike Greenfield. And then after about 2 hours, when we verified we didn't have any leaks, we opened the hatch and met up with the commander of the space station, who was a cosmonaut, Yuri Franco. There were two other people living on board the space station. They were actually two members of my astronaut class. And those three folks had already been on the station for 4 months when we got there. So I think they were happy to see us, but equally happy a week later to see us leave, kind of like when your relatives visit over the holidays. So we start transferring supplies, and then the next morning, we really start into the major part of our mission. And I'm operating the robot arm here. You can see the station robot arm. It's picking up the S0 truss out of the shuttle payload bay, and then we're going to move it around and attach it to the top side of the International Space Station. So here I am at the robotic controls along with Dan Burr. She and I were working together. And you might notice there's no windows right there. So we have no way to just look out the window and see what's going on. We have to try to use different camera views. And oh, by the way, not be distracted by the Nile River and the Gulf of Aqaba behind us, as you see so clearly in this picture there. And this is kind of the final part of this particular activity where we're bringing in the truss. You can see that claw on the right there. It's going to grab a rod, and that's going to be the very first part of the attachment of this truss structure. Dan was actually the one at the controls when we made contact with the space station itself as we're bringing this piece in. So over the next week, as the shuttle is attached to the station and now the truss structure is attached, we did a series of 4 spacewalks, all of them using the robot arm as part of it, assisting in that work. And we completed the structural attachment and also hooked up a whole bunch of cables, really brought the truss to life. There's all kinds of equipment. Here you can see one of the spacewalkers holding onto a cable tray, which on Earth would weigh about 300 pounds. Of course, he's holding it in just one hand as it's weightless, as is the spacewalker. And he's going to attach it to the truss. And then this is one of many dozens of cable connections that were made during this series of 4 spacewalks. The spacewalkers have cameras on their helmet, and so these cameras are the ones that are providing the views that you see here. You can see them looking down at their hands. Here's one of the payload bay cameras looking at a crew member on the end of the arm, and on all of these spacewalks, I was inside operating the robot arm, moving one of the crew members around to help get the work done. And this is what it looks like inside the space station when they come spacewalk. And then, of course, we get them out of their spacesuits. And then it's time for a meal. This particular meal is in the shuttle. And we invited the space station crew members over. I actually had a Texas barbecue for them. And then some nights we ate in the space station. This is my crewmate, Wes Wallheim, kind of showing off for his two little boys. We had a chance to do a video conference with him. Another crewmate, Steve Smith, showing what happens when you let liquid free in the environment of zero gravity. So after we'd been up there a month and we completed all of our tasks, it was time to close the hatches and get ready to separate away from the space station.